with a partner who has something they're addicted to, maybe it's alcohol or addicted to work or addicted to porn or anything like that, would that how would that influence your approach?
Well, first I make sure it's not just a label that people are projecting, because anytime somebody drinks more than you do and they do it in a way that challenges you, you label them. If they drink the same amount as you and you have a great time when you're doing it, you don't label them an alcoholic, you label them a friend. So you make sure it's not just a label that you project on them because you don't know how to communicate in their values and you're not honoring and seeing how what they're doing serves you. Because some people aren't really alcoholics, they're just people that social drink. Other people are alcoholics in those cases. But you first find out how it's serving you. You put yourself in this position, find out how it's actually giving you some upsides. Is it giving you a sense of humor? Is there, because usually there's some other benefit that comes along with it or you'd have left a long time ago. If you try to fix them and change them, you're probably going to push them in their amygdala further because they're not feeling loved. Addictive behavior is a compensation for unfulfilled highest values. Find out what their highest values are. Find out what they feel is in the way of it. Assist them in finding a way in which they can fulfill that. And their self-governance of their executive center and their medial prefrontal cortex starts governing their amygdala and their behavior changes. We had a gentleman who was in France who had a major corporation, just sold it, had about 750 million assets plus shares in this company, and he was doing quite well, but he noticed that after he sold it, he had no meaning in life. You know, he was working most of his life. Now he had money without meaning, which typically leads to debauchery. Money with meaning leads to philanthropy. He was drinking all day. I asked him, I said, when did the drinking accelerate? He said, right after I sold my business. I said, you used to do business deals. Yeah, he said, but I was trapped doing other things that I didn't want to do, and I needed a break. I was burning out. I said, what if you were just doing deals, you weren't doing anything else, and you went back to the company and said, I'd like to do some deals, just give me a good return on it. He said, well, I like doing deals. I said, what if you went back and started doing deals again? He stopped and he reflected. He goes, it's when I stopped doing deals that my drinking went out of control. I said, yeah, whenever you're not fulfilled doing what's meaningful, your amygdala takes over. That's what happens. The medial prefrontal cortex loses myelinization. It loses its governance over the amygdala, and you go into more extreme impulses and instincts. And you start getting into polarized perspectives and addictive behaviors and compulsions. So we got him back into business, and he renegotiated, and they were grateful for having to come back into the game. And the second he did, he says, I don't get drunk because I know I've got a deal to do. And his drinking dropped about 70%. It didn't stop. 70% stopping once he got his executive center back online.